Okay, we're gonna call to order the Town of Bradley Board meeting on September 12th, 2023 at 7 p.m., which I think is after, so 7:05. So call to order. Number 2 is to roll call of board members.
Craig,
Here.
SoCal,
Yep.
Beverly,
Yep.
Number 3 is to discuss and or take action on the consent agenda. All items under this consent agenda will be heard consecutively unless opposed in the presentation, in which the consent agenda will be considered and discussed, an item approved, action taken separately. So our consent agenda has the minutes from August 8th, 2023, and it also has paying of the bills for the PSO, all the accounts, the rural water department, all the accounts, and the billing, waste connections, ONG, Nichols Dixon, and the mowing that we have for the month.
okay,
So I make a motion that we approve the consent agenda.
A second.
Craig,
Yes.
SoCal,
Yes.
Beverly,
Yes.
On number 4, excuse me, is to discuss and or take action on upkeeping and updating the community building, which is including the bathroom and the kitchen needs. We talked or heard before that the bathroom needed to be updated for sure. The toilet is in need of repair. So, I make a motion that we do replace the toilet in the community building.
Second. Yep.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk about afterwards. I'm gonna vote on this one and that one.
okay, Craig,
Yes.
SoCal,
Yes.
Beverly,
And then the other part is the kitchen needs, and then I'm gonna let Dean talk about that because he actually met with the plumber.
I sat in there and plumber and I was here for about 3.5 hours. We found 2 major leaks. There was one come through the wall there and one back here. He fixed that and omitted all the southern engineering for that deep fryer. So right now they're just, the only gas hookup there now is the stove, which he recommended getting rid of. He said it's unsafe, pilots won't stay lit, and it's a commercial stove. And it would be fine if it was used, if this was like a restaurant or cafe, but it's not good for the way it's being used, and it's what's blowing the thing out. So it needs to be replaced. And along with all the other appliances that don't work here, they just need to go. But he highly recommends not using that stove. Matter of fact, he turned all the gas off to it.
So I guess I make a motion to have the old stove hauled off and us purchase a new, probably just a residential stove would work for in here.
Yeah.
Because we don't do the amounts of cooking that would require that type of industrial stove. So I think we can replace it with a residential. So I make a motion that we replace that stove with a residential stove.
I second
Craig,
Yes.
SoCal,
it. Yes.
I have a question.
That's fine.
Can there be another oven added?
No, I'm thinking possibly
Do
2
the
is
double
what we're
oven.
doing, the dual ovens is what I'm thinking, yes.
They make,
Because that's mostly what is
Yeah.
used.
They
Yeah,
make
it's not the
stoves.
stovetop as much, it's the ovens, correct?
Right, we use
Okay.
those ovens all the
That's
time.
more of a-
Stovetop, not so
Well, they
Well, I
make
think-
stoves that are 36 and 40 inch, and they have double ovens in them.
Okay.
If
Yeah,
you get
so
a
I'm thinking
36
we
or a
get one of
40.
those to replace that massive thing in there first, we'll get more room in the kitchen.
Yep.
And we don't need that massive situation in there,
So
and it's
you-
unsafe.
Yeah,
Yes,
and
we're
so
right.
you will take into consideration to try to get more
Yes,
ovens.
yes, more oven space, yes.
Okay, are we gonna get a new ice machine?
I'm not sure on that one we need to look at that one, I need to look into that and see if it's something that's repairable first. Cause someone said it may just, because of our Bradley water, there could just be something clogged in it, first of all.
what happened?
Cause I know like when the water stops working here, when you go to use your shower head or something, it just gets clogged with all that stuff and it gets cleaned out and then it works. So we might just need to kind of look into that one first and see what needs to be done with it before we just say, hey, let's toss it. Let's look into it and see what needs to be fixed. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, can I tell you what experience we've had
Yes,
with it?
yeah.
Okay, when Juanita was here, she had someone to service it. They had something they poured in it, I do not know, and Earl didn't know what they did to service
Descaler.
it. And you're right, that hard stuff gets in there.
What'd you say
and
was
when-
descaler?
Descaler
Not
for
here,
the hard
but the
water.
other guy would come, he would clean it out, and it would work for a while.
And it's
Yeah.
probably just our lovely Bradley water. I'm pretty sure that that's what it is.
Bryce needs to put a filter on
Possibly.
Okay, and a lot of it was the electricity would cut off.
So we
And
don't-
make it not work. I don't know if it was the, what's that called, y'all?
Breaker?
Power
Breaker.
surge.
Yeah, power surge, yes,
If we don't have enough power to hold that.
yes, and me and Earl would have to come up here and get it going, and if we couldn't do it, well, Donna would have to come up.
Okay, so I think it's just something we need to investigate more on the ice machine. But I think we'll start with the stove and get that done.
Yeah.
And then we'll work on the ice
That's
machine.
what.
It's just like the refrigerators, one of them was working, the other one did too, so we just need to kind of look at it, just look at, I don't know if we even need industrial sized fridges either.
No.
So, we're just looking at that piece, and yes, gas would probably be the stove that we put back in there, yes, cause it is got a gas hookup for it, so. Okay,
Are you going to get not a big one, but a regular refrigerator? Is that
we're
what
gonna
you
look
said?
into that one, I haven't yet, cause I
Yeah,
know they're
big
still
one,
kind of
though.
working, yes, a big
When
one,
they
yes.
have funerals, there's a lot of stuff that
Yes.
goes into that refrigerator.
Well, and one of those is
That's
still
right.
working.
I fill it up.
They both are still working, so I just wanna, like, they were just, the doors were frozen
Okay.
shut, so. We'll
I
look
don't
into
mean
that
to
one.
tell you what to do.
That's
but
okay, we're gonna do one at a time, we can't do it all at one
No,
time, so we're
I
gonna
know.
start with that stove
I
and the
know.
toilet, and then we're gonna move
Yeah,
on to the,
I know.
and do it that
Big
way.
one is only a freezer.
Yeah,
Now, this one on the corner
Starting
is
to
a
weigh.
fridge, and that one by the door is a fridge. The one
Yes.
by the door does not work
Okay.
at all.
That should just be hauled off when all this
Yeah.
stuff gets on.
and that's something we're gonna talk about how we can haul it off legally, so we're working on that too. And then, so, the next one is to discuss and or take action on paying the town clerk. So we haven't been paying the town clerk, I think that was taken out a while back because of COVID, I'm not sure what happened, or whenever the other situation was going on around here. But we do need to pay our town clerk, and then I'm gonna have you help me get through this, cause we did an ordinance to pay our town clerk.
So, you don't need to read the ordinance, but go ahead and tell them, I mean, what the ordinance would say, right?
Okay.
What the purpose
For
of the
this part right
ordinance would
here.
be.
Okay, so the ordinance is gonna be for the town clerk shall be entitled to a reasonable compensation in the amount of $400 per month to perform the duties that are described in the sequence amendments. And I don't need to do all that, but basically it's, they collect all the bills, they do the budgeting report, they post, they do all the agendas, they have to retype up all the minutes. There's a lot involved in it, and then they have to actually get the bills paid on time, so we're not out of that, and she's not getting paid at all. And so it's something that we need to do as a town, is to get that step back in a position for that. So do I make a motion on it now?
Make a motion to adopt ordinance
Okay.
23-1, since it'll be the
Dash
first
one.
first one of the year.
All right, so I make a motion to adopt the ordinance, number 23-01.
A second.
Oh,
Craig,
yes,
SoCal,
Yes.
Beverly,
Yes.
okay, I'm gonna let you take that part
I got
out.
you.
Okay, and then we have, for number 6, is discuss it or take action to increase the pay of the solid waste billing clerk. I talked with him, we had
I
drawn
gotta go
something
back
up.
one more.
Okay.
So, because I missed a step. So,
Oh, sorry.
there's also an emergency clause in here
Okay.
that I didn't talk about. And so
Where's
in
that?
order, that's all right, that's
Okay.
that last section. So, in order for an emergency clause to go into effect, the board needs to make a separate vote as to the effective date
Oh,
of the
to go back
ordinance.
to when we,
So it would be effective as of today. And normally an ordinance, if you don't have an emergency clause, is effective after it's been published and you go through like it's 15 or
so how do we make sure it goes back from when she started in May?
So we can't go back.
Can't go back?
But we can go forward.
Okay,
So what we need to do then is to ask someone to make a motion for enactment of the emergency clause for ordinance 2301.
so anyone of you to make a motion?
A second.
But you have to make the motion first.
Yeah.
Okay, so you second his motion?
Yeah.
Okay,
All right, that's okay, so now you vote.
okay. Jamie,
Craig,
yes.
Yes.
Beverly,
So,
Okay.
I'll fill that.
Okay, sorry guys.
That's all right.
All right, so now number 6 is to discuss and take action on increasing the pay of the solid waste billing clerk. So basically, we don't know how that's working out. We did draw up an ordinance, but we don't think it's the right thing. So we're gonna get with Madeline and figure out the titling and all that. So that's gonna have to be tabled to our next meeting. And then, number 7 is to discuss and or take action on hiring a new CPA. So like you remember when we first got hired on or whatever here, we were told that the CPA that we had sent a letter, I guess in January, and Moore is not going to be doing any more city law, municipal law stuff. So we found one, it's called Crawford and Associates, and they are willing to take us on even though they have to backdate and do 1 year behind just because we're behind. So they are gonna be doing that for us, and they're sending us all of our information that we need in the future for that. So I make a motion that we use Crawford and Associates for CPA.
I second
Craig,
Yes.
SoCal,
Yes.
Beverly,
And number 8 is to discuss and or take action on placing a suggestion box up at, either here at the community building or even possibly the post office, since it's kind of an indoor spot, if they'll let us post something in there.
I don't know if they will let you.
Yeah, I don't know if they will or not, so we may have to put it out here on this
Post
door.
office.
But, put a box out for new business, so that way we can check it at the first of every month, and on the first, if it's anything in there, we can have that added to our agenda, to where we can talk about it. And then, if it's in there after the first, then it'll have to go to the next month. But that way we can get more community input, and not just out here where we can't do anything about it at that very moment. So that gives us a little bit of heads up.
In other words,
So I make a motion to add a suggestion box to the community building.
I second.
Craig,
Yes.
SoCal,
I know, right?
Beverly,
It'll be 6 pages long.
Make it small, cause I work a lot. So that brings us to adjourning our meeting, so I make a motion to adjourn our meeting.
Did you table item number 6?
We, did, yes.
Did you vote and make a motion and all
We did
that?
not, did we, on
No.
the motion tabling it?
Robert's rules.
No, it's for the solid waste.
That's all right. But you can also just take no action.
Yeah, okay, so then we're good, because we didn't take any action on it, we're waiting on it, okay. So I make a motion to adjourn the meeting,
it. I second it.
Craig,
yes.
SoCal,
Yes.
Beverly,
Yes.